In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create an effective Facebook Live. 6 tips coming right up. Hello everyone, my name is James Martin. Welcome to Magica Media and Promotion. We're here to help you to create very easy and very effective videos so that you can add value back to your customers. Because as we always say, what we believe in is if you add value back to your customers, it'll not only help you find the right clientele for you, it'll also help you gain the trust from those customers and will help convert those into sales. Today is a video that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and a lot of you have especially requested for this, is how to do a Facebook Live. A lot of people get very intimidated about how to do a live. I talk a lot about doing videos that are recorded, and I haven't really touched on doing a live. Now, before I get started, there are a few things I need to mention. So, number one, if you have very little to no experience and you're not comfortable with speaking, whether it's in video or on stage, I would suggest that you hold off on the live until you are comfortable. There are a few tips. I'm going to explain to you why that's important. But it's important that you need to make sure that you need to be comfortable, all right? So that's why I always suggest that if you're thinking of, speaking in a video, practice recording first. Because at least in recording, if you mess up, if you make a mistake, because we all make mistakes, I certainly do, then at least you can delete that recording and start over, right? A live, people are going to be watching you in real time. Right? This video cannot be edited. It's going to be posted later on, and so everything that happens right now is going to get recorded and documented and rewatched later on. So every moment in your Facebook Live counts. All right? So that's one of the major tips that's important. And of course, we want to talk about preparation. Now, we're going to cover all these different tips in a second, but first, I want to just take a brief moment to talk to you about a very special sponsor of today's video, which is Sweet Success at ESS Direct in Barrie, Ontario. Sweet Success offers a professional meeting, event, and office space that can suit your budget and the type of environment you need. At Sweet Success, they have many different offices that you can rent out either for a quick meeting, part-time, or sometimes full-time, which can be a lot more professional than meeting your clients at a cafe. You can also rent event rooms with custom seating, catering, and a variety of rental options to fit your event style and budget. Plus, you're also building relationships with your local tenants. Major plus on that side. For more information, visit sweetsuccess.ca and please let them know that we sent you. Again, that's sweetsuccess.ca, helping your business not only be a success, but making it a sweet success. And we're going to link the website in the description down below. All right. How to do a Facebook Live. 6 tips. So the first thing that's very important to know is that, as I mentioned before, when you do a Facebook Live, you do have the option to repost it later. And I recommend that you just go ahead and save it as a video because you're putting this effort, you set aside time, you've made your preparations, you're doing this live, save it as a video. It becomes one less piece of content that you have to worry about making later, right? So instead of me having to pre-record and pre-edit and make a whole separate video on something that I already covered in a live, I can just post it as a live. Now, you might be wondering, well, what about if I make mistakes? What if, all these different things happen? Well, again, we're going to address how to properly prepare for a Facebook Live, but one of the things that I always encourage about, why you want to go and do a live, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, is authenticity, right? I mean, as I said, I make mistakes. It happens. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect, so it's going to help create that sense of authenticity, right? So as opposed to a lot of the videos that you see with me on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, a lot of the times that's edited, right? I deliberately cut out the mistakes. Anytime I forget something, I blank out, I say or I say the wrong thing, I mispronounce something, I cut that out so that you don't have to deal with that, right? I edit that so I look better. But in these Facebook Lives, it lets me be authentic. Right? People connect to people. Humans connect to humans. Right? So creating that authenticity helps build that relationship. All right? So, where do we start? Preparation. Preparation is key. So the first thing we got to prepare is, what are you going to say? It's good that you have a plan on what that you're going to say. So often I see with people who go on a Facebook Live, they don't really plan that out, right? And believe it or not, there's not too much you got to plan. It's a very simple process. But so many people miss out, and they flip on live and they just say whatever comes to mind. The problem is that you're trying to figure out along the way what you need to say, trying to figure out the order, trying to fix mistakes, making sure that you cover all the necessities, but you're figuring those out as you go. And meanwhile, the people who are either watching you live or watching the replay later on, they're missing out on that value. They're not connecting with you because while you're struggling, that's precious time from people, and that's when people will click away. So that's why you want to make sure every moment on a Facebook Live is spent with intention, it is focused, it is driven, so you can get proper engagement. So how are we going to prepare our scripts? Well, as I always recommend for scripts, what you need to do is create a bullet form. That's what I always recommend. So create a bullet form, create the big topic that you want to cover. So in today's video, how to do an effective Facebook Live was our topic. Then you're going to create the individual bullet points underneath that discuss the individual points, right? Like, that's why if you notice my eyesight might be going over a bit here, that's because I have my notes right here, right beside me on my laptop. And then I can just go and look at this point and this point and this point. And to be honest, a lot of the times, I don't even need to look at a script. When I do my YouTube videos, a lot of times I already know the individual points we want to cover. And if you can do that, great. Today I wanted to make sure that I cover all the different points. So it just makes life easier instead of just memorizing word for word or improvising. I mean, I've done improvising in the past, where I just flip on live and I just automatically come up with something off the cuff of my head, but it's far better when you plan it out. And the other important thing about planning something out is you may include stuff that you may not have thought about including before, right? Like, it would feel natural for me to hop on a Facebook Live and just go straight into the tips, but it's important to me that I create an introduction, right? I want to make sure that I'm not just addressing the people who are here live, because chances are no one's going to hop on the live in the first few seconds. That's just usual, all right? But I want to make sure that when someone is re-watching this later on, so if you're re-watching this later on, I want to make sure that my entire introduction is set so that the moment you watch, I'm not just figuring stuff out, I'm not just waiting for other people to actually come onto the live before I start engaging. I'm engaging from the get-go. So I make sure I have my introduction. In today's video, we're covering this topic. Then I introduce myself. Then I introduce my business. You know what I mean? And I even was able to throw in our sponsor, Sweet Success. I mean, we're in the lounge. We're in one of the office spaces that you can rent out. I mean, you can't really get a good sense of what this room looks like from the Facebook Live. If you watch the other videos that we're going to start posting over the next few weeks, you'll get a better idea of what the space looks like. But it was important that I mentioned that because they're our sponsor, right? I need to give them a shout out, rightly so. So it allows me to really plan out and make sure that I cover everything in the video in one straight go, right? All right, so we talked about preparation. What's the second thing we need to think about? Second important thing is environment, right? So many people will just, again, hop on live wherever they feel like it. So if they're just casually sitting on the couch or in their cafe, they'll just hop on live without taking much consideration into how their environment will impact their life. It was important that I did this Facebook Live in this room. It's a very quiet room. It's a very small room. I already have my equipment with me because I'm creating a series of videos right here this morning. And I know it's going to be quiet. I know I'm going to have the quality of light that I'm looking for. I can have a clean backdrop right behind me. So that way I'm covering all the basics for my environment. Take consideration into making sure you are well lit. Make sure that we can hear you clearly. There's no interrupting sounds, right? We want to make sure that we get the best quality sound possible from your phone. But when I say best quality, that also means making sure you speak out clearly, that there's nothing covering up the sound. So that's why going in a public space usually isn't the best option. All right, so the third thing we need to look into is engagement. All right. So engagement is what's going to help you not only build that relationship with your customers, but social media loves engagement. So how do we do engagement? Engagement is when you interact with your audience. So what a lot of people like to do, and especially what I love to do, is I love interacting with my audience as much as I possibly can. So in my YouTube videos and even in these type of videos right here, I usually ask everyone to, comment below, post an answer, ask a question, right? As a matter of fact, let's try this out right now. So comment below, what do you usually like doing in a Facebook Live in order to create engagement with your customers? All right, just comment that down below, and I'll respond to you guys later. That's another thing about engagement, and not many people do this, and this is a really big mistake, is when you have someone commenting on your videos, respond to them. This is creating an engagement. It's creating a relationship. It's creating a conversation. Make sure you're staying in touch with your audience, both on live, but also make sure you're addressing people in the video, when they're rewatching this, right? Keep going back to the video and look for any more comments. And what I always love doing is anytime there's a new viewer on a live, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, welcome them in, right? And if you have constantly people coming in, just welcome them every few moments, right? Just like, hi, welcome to our Facebook Live. We're covering this today. And yes, someone is going to rewatch this and they're going to hear you repeatedly welcome people, but you know what? They're not going to mind. They're really not. So make sure that you create that interaction from the get-go, because that's the important part, is creating that entire engagement from the moment someone is watching you live, as well as watching you later in the rewatch, right? So as I mentioned to you, this next tip is invite your audience into the conversation. Engage with them. I gave you an example about asking a question. It doesn't just have to be about asking a question. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's just, comment below and shout yes if you agree with what I just said. This engaging with your audience and getting them involved lets them be a part of it, right? They're creating effort to listening to you, to interacting with you. So, leave a thumbs up, right? Comment below with anything. The other important reason why I keep saying comment, and I mentioned this earlier, is you're not only creating the relationship with your customers, but think about it from a social media perspective. See, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, they're more likely to push out your content when they know that people are interacting. Because as far as search engine optimization goes, as far as the social media goes, they know that if people are interacting with your content, then you must be posting really good content. And they're more likely to push that out to share to other people. So if you're doing a live and people are interacting on your live and leaving comments and likes and all that stuff, your live is more likely to be pushed out. So that's why I always recommend go straight to a comment. All right, now we're going to talk about some do's and don'ts. So tip number 5, please don't touch your phone or your laptop in the middle of a live. I see this so often, and there's a few problems here. So number 1, sound, right? So right now I have my phone set up on my laptop just so I can do the live here, but I also have my notes just to the side. Listen to what happens when I'm just typing on my laptop. That's creating a very loud sound and is shaking the camera, right? It's a distraction. You don't want people to distract from the content that you're giving them, right? You don't want them to be distracted, and you don't want to annoy them either. So if they're listening and they're, quite annoyed about the constant sounds, they're more likely to tune off. The other thing that's important, and I see so many people do this, is when they go in and they're, touching their phone and seeing the views here or going down here and looking at comments and doing stuff like that. The problem is that, again, you may be interacting with people live, but again, it's not just about interacting with the live people, it's also about making sure that you're interacting with the people who are rewatching your video later. Someone's going to rewatch your video, so they're not engaging live, obviously, because they're watching it later, and they just have to put up with this. Again, that's annoying. that's going to cause them to click off and go away. So you want to make sure every moment is spent with purpose. So don't click on it. I mean, your Facebook Live is set so you can see how many people are watching. You can see the comments going in. You don't have to worry about, oh, do I need to respond to everyone? No, you can respond later, right? Everyone does this. So if someone's leaving comments, I mean, you can respond to them in the Facebook Live. Great, please do that. But later on, you can respond in the comments once your video is posted. Because that's not going to get into your Facebook Live. It's not going to be saved in the video. That's just an added bonus later. So please don't touch your phone or laptop. The other thing I notice is so many people will hesitate, will start adjusting and fixing things in the middle of their live. And again, this comes down to preparation. If you have properly prepared for your Facebook Live, you will not have to do any adjustments. You don't, because you have everything prepared, right? I don't need to freak out. I don't need to take a moment to think about what I'm going to say because I already know what I'm going to say. I've taken the proper cautions and preparations to make sure that this Facebook Live is as effective as possible. So make sure you prepare for your Facebook Lives accordingly. And finally, my tip number 6 is to make sure you relax. Please, just relax. Again, I talk about making sure you're comfortable with speaking, so if you know what you're going to say, if you know how you're going to say it, if you've done and check mark all the stuff that you need to get done, so you have good lighting, if you have the sound right so we can hear you clearly, if you're in a good environment, if you have your script, then just take a deep breath and go for it. You're often going to get better the more you keep doing these videos. So if you mess up the first time, fine, whatever. Keep doing it again and again and again. That's how you get better. It's when you do it repeatedly again and again and again, right? Breathe, relax, go with the flow. After that, your videos will be fantastic, and always make sure you're looking for feedback. If someone wants to, leave some suggestions on how to make your videos better, please take all the feedback that you can get. All right? So, that's all the advice I have for today. If you got any value out of this live, please give this video a thumbs up and share this to other friends so that they benefit from this as well. Maybe another business, another entrepreneur, a group, a page, wherever that this can help value other people with their Facebook Lives. All right? So please like this and share this to your friends and family. Make sure you also like us on Magic Cut Media and Promotion on Facebook because we post value every single week in inspirational quotes, in updates, information, and video tips. Alright? And from there you can see the source to other videos and other tips and other information and special deals coming up. So make sure you like us on Facebook and press the notification buttons so that you get notified every time we go live again. So, question of the day. Comment below, alright, with what type of content do you like doing in a Facebook Live? Comment below because when someone else watches this, they're going to look at your comments and they're going to see the ideas that they could do for their Facebook Live. Remember, it's not just helping you. Your idea, your comment might also help someone else. So it's good value everywhere. And if you comment below, I'll respond as well and get engagement with you as well. And we'll start a conversation. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me on this Facebook Live. I really appreciate the time that you took to watch this entire video from start to finish. Really appreciate it. And make sure you check out the other videos and the other posts that we do on Facebook every single week. And if you have more information, please visit us at www.magiccutmedia.com if you want to get videos done for yourself or if you're interested in special training for creating your own types of videos. Alright, and I'll leave the website link in the description of this live later on. So, good luck with your videos, have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.